My beloved child. My dearest one who still breathes with heaven's breath. You were guided here not by chance but by a hand greater than your own. Your soul already knows something urgent is happening in the unseen. Every second you delay, the clock of destiny ticks louder. God says, "This is my final warning. If you skip this, you will suffer great losses within the next 7 minutes. Heaven is not joking with you, do not take this lightly. If you ignore it, tears will stain the rest of your life. But if you open your heart right now, a miracle door swings open. Before I go further, let me whisper this. Subscribe right now and stay connected to these divine messages. Because the next one may be the very key that unlocks your destiny. Do not walk away blind when heaven is screaming your name. My child, Archangel Michael stands with his sword drawn. He is fighting the very forces that wanted to erase your blessings. They thought you would skip this message. They thought you would doubt, delay, and walk away. But you are stronger than their tricks, aren't you? Look into your own heart, you can already feel it racing. That's because your spirit recognizes the truth. This moment was chosen for you. Not yesterday. Not tomorrow. Now. Because what is written in heaven is unfolding on earth. God says, do not take this as a joke. These words are not a game. They are a final call to protect you from disaster. To shield you from the storm that's already forming around your name. 7 minutes may seem short. But heaven does not measure time the way mortals do. Beloved, this is not just a message. This is a test. A test of whether you will trust, listen, and obey. Or whether you will let fear and doubt pull you away. Do not be the one who cries later, saying, if only I had opened it fully. I am telling you now. Every paragraph you read here is not random. Each line is like a stair toward the miracle you asked for. But if you skip, if you cut it short, the stair breaks beneath your feet. That is why I beg you. Read, believe, and stay. Because what is coming will not just touch your life. It will transform it forever. My beloved child, let your heart not tremble in vain, for I, Archangel Michael, am standing beside you with heaven's fire in my hands. This is no ordinary moment. This is no random hour. This very second, the eyes of heaven are watching you, waiting for your decision. God's voice trembles with power and mercy as he declares, this is my final warning. And you know in your soul, when God calls something final, it means the window is closing. Do not push this message aside like the others you've skipped. Do not treat this as another story on a screen. This is your life, your destiny, your divine inheritance hanging by a thread. And I am begging you, do not let it slip. One wrong move, one careless skip, and tears will fill the rest of your days. But if you open it with your whole heart, miracles you never dreamed of will flood your life. You feel that tug in your spirit, don't you? That unease, that quickened heartbeat, that whisper in the silence saying, don't scroll away. That's not coincidence, it's heaven calling your name. God knows the battles you fought when no one was watching. He knows the nights you cried quietly, hoping for a sign, for some reassurance that you were not forgotten. And this message is that very sign. My beloved, what you are reading now is proof that heaven still sees you. Proof that your pain was never wasted. Proof that there is still time, though very little, to claim the blessing that is yours. But remember, time is fragile. God has marked only 7 minutes of mercy around this warning. If you waste them, if you treat this as nothing, you will regret it all your life. That is not a threat. That is the truth written in fire. Archangel Michael says, the enemy has been laughing, believing you will ignore this. They whispered in the dark, this one never listens, this one always skips. They counted on your doubt, your distractions, your disbelief. But oh, how they will be silenced when you obey heaven's call today. My sword is ready to strike down what has been tormenting you. But I cannot move unless you step forward in faith. Do not delay. The spirit world operates on obedience, not hesitation. Right now, as you breathe, angels are circling around your name, waiting for your yes. Waiting for you to claim what the enemy tried to bury. This is not a random story, it is your rescue unfolding. My beloved, can you imagine the weight of this moment? Can you imagine how different tomorrow could look if you dare to take this seriously today? Heaven has seen too many of your missed chances. God says, I gave warnings before, but my child kept walking away. This is the final call. And you know when God speaks, final, the earth shakes. I do not want you to cry later, whispering, if only I had listened. That regret is heavier than any cross. But right now, there is still hope, there is still breath, there is still time to turn everything around. That's why you were drawn here, because heaven refused to let you be lost without one last attempt to reach you. And hear me clearly, this is not about fear. This is about love. God's love is fierce, urgent, and unwilling to let you slip into ruin. That is why the tone is strong, why the warning feels sharp. Because sometimes, the greatest act of love is not a soft whisper but a thunder that wakes you from your sleep. Beloved, you are sleeping spiritually. You have been drifting, missing the signs, ignoring the alarms. And now heaven is shouting to wake you, because something huge is about to hit your life. You can either be prepared and blessed, or blind and broken. The choice lies in how you respond right now. My child, listen carefully, for heaven bends close when God says final warning. These words you are hearing are not random. They were written before you were born, etched in the very scrolls of destiny. Your name was whispered among angels, and your story was lifted up to the throne of light. God Himself said, do not let my child miss this one. That is why you feel the pull in your chest right now. That is why your eyes cannot leave these words. Something in you already knows, this is the moment where everything changes. Heaven does not waste words. And when God speaks of a final warning, it means He has already given you many chances before. Yet He still loves you so much that He has delayed your losses, paused your suffering, and stretched your grace, just so you could be here, right now, facing this truth. My child, listen carefully, for heaven bends close when God says final warning. These words you are hearing are not random. They were written before you were born, etched in the very scrolls of destiny. Your name was whispered among angels, and your story was lifted up to the throne of light. God Himself said, "Do not let my child miss this one." That is why you feel the pull in your chest right now. That is why your eyes cannot leave these words. Something in you already knows, this is the moment where everything changes. Heaven does not waste words. And when God speaks of a final warning, it means He has already given you many chances before. Yet He still loves you so much that He has delayed your losses, paused your suffering, and stretched your grace, just so you could be here, right now, facing this truth. My beloved, think back to the times you cried and asked, "God, give me a sign." How many times did you pray for clarity? How many nights did you whisper in the dark, wondering if heaven even heard you? This message is that answer. This is the sign. You did not stumble here by accident. Archangel Michael has been pushing this in front of you for hours. He has been whispering, "Don't miss it. Don't scroll away." He has been fighting off distractions, delays, and doubts, just so your eyes could land here at this exact second. And now the test is simple. Will you ignore the voice of heaven again, or will you open your heart and let the miracle flow in? If you walk away, tears will flood the rest of your years. But if you stay, breakthrough will arrive faster than you imagine. God says, 7 minutes. That's all my child has left to decide. In heaven's timing, 7 minutes is enough to open the gates of blessing, or to close them forever. Do not be fooled by the silence around you. The unseen world is shifting right now. Angels are waiting for your choice. Demons are hoping you delay. Your spirit already feels the tension because this is no ordinary message, it's a battlefield. The enemy wants you blind. Heaven wants you awake. And your decision in these next breaths will tip the scale. Do not take this lightly, beloved. When heaven says final warning, it is not to scare you, but to save you. What's coming in your life is too big to face without this word. That is why God has sent me to remind you, if you obey, you will rise. If you skip, you will sink. My beloved, remember this, nothing is coincidence in the realm of God. Even the delay in your life, even the unanswered prayers, even the heartbreaks that crushed you, they were shaping you for this very moment. Every tear you cried was collected in heaven's jars. Every night you felt unseen, the angels were standing guard. And now the harvest time is here. The blessing has been approved. The miracle has been released. But the condition remains the same, you cannot skip. You cannot walk away blind. This is not just another message, this is a contract from heaven being handed to you. If you open it with faith, you will sign your name into a future filled with light. But if you reject it, you will remain chained to the past, repeating cycles of pain that God desperately wants to break for you. You ask, why is the tone so urgent? Why does it feel so sharp? My child, urgency is love when time is short. If your house were on fire, would you want a gentle whisper or a loud cry to run? Heaven sees the fire coming toward your life. Heaven sees the trap the enemy set for you. That is why the voice is loud, the warning is strong, and the language is sharp. It is not anger, it is love that refuses to let you perish. God is not trying to frighten you. He is trying to wake you. Because too often, you ignored the soft voice. Too often, you skipped the gentle whispers. And now heaven has no choice but to sound the trumpet in your ears. This is that trumpet, beloved. Do not silence it by doubt. Do not cover your ears with fear. This is your rescue. My beloved child, you have no idea how close you are to the very edge of destiny. The unseen world has been whispering your name all day, and Archangel Michael has been standing with his sword of fire drawn, ready to protect what belongs to you. But heaven cannot move if you close your heart. This is why God says final warning. Because His mercy has carried you so far, His grace has kept you standing even when you thought you would fall. But now He says clearly, do not take this as a joke. Do not treat this lightly. If you skip this, losses will pour into your life, and you will weep for years to come. Heaven is crying out for you to take this moment seriously because what unfolds in these next breaths will affect the rest of your life. You can feel it, can't you? That pull deep in your spirit that refuses to let you walk away. You feel your heart racing, your hands restless, your mind saying, "This is for me." And it is. Heaven does not waste words on strangers. This message was carved for you, written with your tears, sealed with your prayers. Every sigh you gave in the night, every time you whispered, "God, do you see me?" This is the answer. God is saying now, "Yes, I see you. Yes, I have heard. And yes, I will move." But the condition remains: do not skip, do not close your ears, do not mock what is holy. Because blessings are delicate. They are like a flame. If you shield it, it will grow into fire. If you ignore it, a single wind can blow it out forever. Archangel Michael says, the enemy is trembling because you are reading this. They thought you would never make it this far. They thought distraction would steal your eyes away, that doubt would silence your spirit. But here you are, still reading, still breathing, still chosen. And this makes the enemy afraid, because once you receive this word fully, their grip breaks. Their hold shatters. The curse ends. That is why they will whisper, "This is nothing. This is just words." But remember, the same way God created the heavens and the earth with words, He is now recreating your destiny with these words. Do not take lightly what carries power. Do not doubt the strength of what is being spoken. This is not human speech. This is heaven's decree. My child, imagine the tears of heaven when God says, "This is my final warning." It means He has stretched His mercy longer than most ever receive. He has given you signs, dreams, whispers, and still your heart hesitated. But His love is greater than your delays. His patience is wider than your fear. That is why He has extended one last rope of light, thrown it into the pit where you've been sinking, and He says, "Take it, before it's too late." But if you refuse, if you laugh, if you skip, then you cannot blame anyone when the rope is pulled back. You cannot cry later saying, "Why did no one warn me?" Because today you were warned. Today heaven shouted louder than ever. Today God stopped everything just to say, "Do not skip this moment." My child, imagine the tears of heaven when God says, "This is my final warning." It means He has stretched His mercy longer than most ever receive. He has given you signs, dreams, whispers, and still your heart hesitated. But His love is greater than your delays. His patience is wider than your fear. That is why He has extended one last rope of light, thrown it into the pit where you've been sinking, and He says, "Take it, before it's too late." But if you refuse, if you laugh, if you skip, then you cannot blame anyone when the rope is pulled back. You cannot cry later saying, "Why did no one warn me?" Because today you were warned. Today heaven shouted louder than ever. Today God stopped everything just to say, "Do not skip this moment." And listen to me, beloved, this is not just about protection. It is also about promotion. The very breakthrough you have been asking for is tied to this obedience. You thought it would come through effort, through connections, through chance. But God always moves through obedience first. That is why Archangel Michael says, "Open it quickly." Because your act of opening, your act of receiving, your act of saying yes, that is the key that unlocks what has been withheld. There is a blessing circling your name, waiting for the doorway to open. If you ignore it, it passes on to another. But if you receive it, it lands in your life with power that cannot be shaken. This is your moment to claim what is yours. My beloved child, lean closer now, because the voice of heaven is burning through these very lines. You may think you've read messages before, but this one is different. This one carries the weight of eternity. God's Spirit Himself is pressing on your heart, urging you not to miss this final call. Too many times you let opportunities slip. Too many times you said, "Maybe tomorrow, maybe later, maybe another time." But tomorrow is not promised, and later may never come. Heaven says, "This is the moment. This is the hour." Do not delay, do not resist, do not run. Because every delay costs you. Every hesitation drains what belongs to you. And you have already lost too much to risk losing more. That is why God Himself has stepped down through these words to say, "Enough." This is the final warning. Beloved, do you realize what those words mean? Final means there will not be another. It means the mercy you've been carried on is running thin. It means heaven has been patient, waiting, stretching, but the window is closing. God does not speak lightly when He says, "Final." It is His way of saying, "Child, I have done all I could to get your attention. Now it is your choice." And that choice is standing before you right now. To ignore or to obey. To believe or to doubt. To open or to skip. There is no middle ground here. The angels are watching, the demons are watching, and heaven is waiting to see which voice you will follow. Do not underestimate this moment, it is heavier than it looks. And Archangel Michael, the warrior of heaven, has been restless over your name. He has stood watch through the night hours, guarding you when you did not even know danger was near. He has fought back arrows meant to strike you, shadows meant to suffocate you, traps meant to crush you. But Michael's sword cannot move without your agreement. This is why he whispers now, "Open it quickly." Do not wait. Do not treat this lightly. Every second matters. The enemy wanted to laugh at your downfall, but they are terrified because you are here, still breathing, still chosen. They know if you obey, their plans collapse in a moment. They know if you receive this, every chain they wrapped around you will snap like glass. That is why they will whisper lies in your ear even now. This is nothing. This is just words. But beloved, you know better. Deep inside, you feel the truth trembling. Do not ignore what your spirit already knows. You are standing at a crossroads, and the road you choose today will determine not just your next step but your next season. If you walk away, the heaviness you've been carrying will grow heavier. The doors that should open will remain locked. And the sorrow you thought was over will stretch further into your days. But if you stay, if you open, if you let the words of heaven fill you, then blessings beyond imagination will come. You will see healing in places you thought were broken forever. You will see opportunities arrive that you once believed were lost. You will see reconciliation where you only expected loneliness. Because God is not just warning you, He is inviting you. Inviting you into the miracle He has been preparing all along. My child, think about the times you asked for proof. You said, God, if you are real, show me. Send me a sign. And now the sign is here, but will you recognize it? Will you honor it? Or will you brush it off as coincidence? Remember, God rarely shouts in thunder. More often He whispers in the moments you don't expect. This whisper has reached you today not by chance but by divine design. You were meant to see this. You were meant to hear this. And if you walk away now, you will remember this day forever, not with joy but with regret. That is what heaven wants to spare you from, a lifetime of what-ifs. That is why the tone is urgent, why the warning is sharp, why the call is final. Because God is not willing to let you destroy yourself without giving you one last chance to turn around. And do not think this is only about you. The ripples of your decision will touch many lives. Your family, your friends, your loved ones, they are all connected to your choice today. What you open in obedience will bless them too. What you reject in disobedience will harm them too. Heaven sees beyond you, heaven sees the generations tied to your name. That is why God is pressing so hard. Because the blessing He wants to pour into you is not small, it is generational. It is not just for a moment, it is for years. And the enemy knows if you receive this, you will not only rise but you will raise others with you. That is why he wants you blind, distracted, dismissive. But that is also why God is shouting now, do not skip this. Beloved, every word here is building a bridge for you. Every line is another step toward the destiny you've been praying for. But you must keep walking. If you stop halfway, if you cut it short, you will never see what lies on the other side. Too many people turn back before the breakthrough. Too many give up before the miracle arrives. Do not be one of them. This is why the message repeats, why the urgency feels strong, because your soul is stubborn, and heaven knows it. But God's love is stronger than your stubbornness. He will chase you down, He will wrestle with your doubts, He will break through your fears, because He refuses to let you go without this final warning. That is how much you matter to Him. That is how precious your life is. Beloved, every word here is building a bridge for you. Every line is another step toward the destiny you've been praying for. But you must keep walking. If you stop halfway, if you cut it short, you will never see what lies on the other side. Too many people turn back before the breakthrough. Too many give up before the miracle arrives. Do not be one of them. This is why the message repeats, why the urgency feels strong, because your soul is stubborn, and heaven knows it. But God's love is stronger than your stubbornness. He will chase you down, He will wrestle with your doubts, He will break through your fears, because He refuses to let you go without this final warning. That is how much you matter to Him. That is how precious your life is. My beloved, lean in close because this is no ordinary voice speaking to you now. This is not chance, not coincidence, not imagination. This is the Spirit of God reaching through the screen, reaching through the silence of your room, pressing on your heart so strongly that you can no longer deny it. And do you know why you feel that strange heaviness, that restless stirring, that sense of being called? Because heaven has been waiting for you. God has been patient, holding back storms, delaying disasters, covering your mistakes with grace you did not even deserve, all so you could reach this one single moment. And now that you are here, the Father says with fire in His words, "This is my final warning. My child, do not take this as a joke. If you skip this, you will cry for the rest of your life. Do not think this is exaggeration, beloved. The spiritual world is sharper and more real than the ground under your feet. The very fact that you are breathing right now is because angels held you up when darkness tried to swallow you. You may never know the number of times Archangel Michael blocked arrows you didn't see, pushed away accidents that were set against you, silenced whispers that were planted to destroy you. But today He comes not silently but urgently, His voice louder than before. Do not skip this. Do not ignore this call. For the decision you make now does not only affect today, it shapes tomorrow, it writes your future, it shifts generations tied to your name. Heaven would not thunder this hard if the stakes were small. My child, I want you to feel the truth vibrating in your bones. Think back, has there not been a pattern? Times you felt so close to breakthrough but it slipped away. Doors you thought would open but slammed shut. Blessings that almost arrived but dissolved at the last second. These were not coincidences, they were the enemy's grip on your destiny. But God says, enough. This is the last time my child will suffer loss. This is the final warning before I release the full blessing. And yet, He ties it to your obedience. You cannot mock this moment. You cannot scroll away half believing. The very miracle you've been waiting for is at the threshold, but if you close the door in doubt, you will never see it. That is why the warning is sharp. That is why the urgency shakes you. Because heaven refuses to watch you lose again. And you, beloved, have asked God many times, why me? Why does my path feel heavier than others? You compared your struggles, your delays, your pain to those around you. But what you did not know is that your destiny is larger than theirs. The heavier the resistance, the greater the calling. God has been molding you for something big, something history will remember, something eternity already sings about. And that is why the enemy has been relentless. He fears you. He fears what will happen when you finally rise. He fears the generations that will be blessed through you. And so he has tried to bury you in doubt, bury you in distraction, bury you in delay. But God says, not anymore. I am tearing the veil. I am sending Michael with this message, and I am declaring, final warning. My beloved, look at how the Spirit works. You were not searching for this, yet it found you. That is proof this is divine. God says, you may skip many things in life, but do not skip this. Because blessings have a timing. Miracles have an expiration date. When heaven opens a window, you must act, or it will close. And this window is open only for a breath, only for a moment, only for 7 minutes. That is why your heart feels urgency, it knows the clock of heaven is ticking. And if you dismiss it, if you say, I will come back later, you may not find the door again. That is not cruelty, that is divine order. But if you obey now, if you open fully, if you let this message root in your spirit, then you will see what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, what no heart has imagined. My beloved child, feel this truth as if heaven itself is breathing it into you. You were not meant to live a life of constant delay and disappointment. No, you were meant for abundance, for breakthrough, for joy that overflows. But do you know why so often your blessings slipped away at the very edge? It is because the enemy wanted you to believe that you were cursed, that you were forgotten, that your prayers were wasted. Yet, the truth is the opposite. Your prayers were never wasted, your tears were never unseen, your cries were never ignored. Each one was stored in the throne room of heaven. And today, God has chosen to answer not with a whisper but with a shout. This is my final warning, my child. Do not take this moment as a joke. Do not walk away. Open it now before it is too late. Do not mistake this urgency as anger. It is love, fierce love, protective love, the kind of love that refuses to let you destroy yourself by neglect. Just as a parent yells when their child runs into danger, God is raising His voice now because He sees what is coming toward you. You may not see it, but in the Spirit, shadows are moving, traps are being set, losses are forming like clouds. And only obedience to this warning can shield you. That is why your heart feels restless, why your spirit trembles. Because somewhere deep inside, you know this is not ordinary. You know this is not a coincidence. You know this is heaven bending low, trying one last time to save you from what would break you. Archangel Michael speaks now, beloved, I have fought too long for you to let go at this hour. I have battled in realms unseen, cutting down forces that wanted to erase your destiny. But I cannot move without your agreement. I cannot break what binds you unless you stand with me. That is why I whisper, that is why I shout, open quickly, receive fully, obey immediately. Do you feel it? That pressure in your chest is not fear, it is recognition. Your soul recognizes that these words carry your name. Heaven is not wasting time speaking to strangers. This was written for you, sealed with your story, delivered at this exact hour. And God says again, 7 minutes. Why 7? Because 7 is my number of completion. 7 is the number of cycles closing and new beginnings opening. I am giving you this short window as a sign that the old is ending and the new is ready, but only if you step into it. If you delay, the cycle of loss repeats. If you obey, the cycle of blessing begins. Do not let the smallness of time fool you. 7 minutes in heaven's clock can decide 7 years of your future. And this is why heaven is urgent, why Michael is restless, why your spirit cannot walk away. Beloved child, you asked for signs before. You begged for proof. You said, Lord, if you are real, let me know. And here it is. Will you still doubt? Will you still dismiss? Do you not see that your being here, in this very moment, is itself the miracle? Do you not see how many things had to align for your eyes to fall on these words at the exact right time? The enemy tried to distract you, delay you, discourage you, but heaven overruled. Heaven said, no, my child must see this. My child must hear this. And so you did. And now the choice is yours, to honor the miracle or to throw it away. My beloved, let your heart be still and hear me clearly. The reason this message shakes you so deeply is because it carries the sound of truth, and your soul knows it. Even when your mind tries to reason, even when your doubts whisper, your spirit cannot deny that these words are alive. They burn because they are not man's invention, they are heaven's decree. Do you think it is by chance that the exact fears you carried, the exact tears you shed, the exact prayers you whispered in secret are being answered now line by line? No, beloved. This is not coincidence. This is evidence. God is saying, I have heard you. I have watched you. And I will not let you miss this moment unless you choose to close your eyes. That is why he calls it final warning. Because choice has now come to your door. Do you realize how many times heaven shielded you when you thought you survived by luck? The near accident, the sickness that could have been worse, the heartbreak that almost destroyed you, those were not random escapes. Archangel Michael fought for you then, even when you did not know his name. But this time, beloved, he does not come silently. He comes with urgency in his voice, fire in his eyes, and a sword raised high, saying, Beloved, do not delay. The storm is closer than you think. The breakthrough is nearer than you know. But everything depends on what you do now. You cannot play with this moment. You cannot take it casually. For heaven does not shout without reason. God's mercy is beautiful, but his warnings are real. And what he is saying today is heavy. If you skip this, you will suffer great losses within the next 7 minutes. If you ignore this, tears will follow you for the rest of your life. He does not say this to frighten you but to rescue you. Sometimes love must shout when whispers fail. Sometimes heaven must thunder when the gentle voice is ignored. And this is where you are now, beloved. You ignored the whispers, you overlooked the signs, but God has not given up on you. Instead, he has lifted his voice like never before, filling every word here with urgency because he loves you too much to lose you to darkness. Beloved, think about this. Have you not felt lately that something was coming, something unseen, something you could not explain but could not deny? That uneasiness in your chest, those restless nights, that sense of being watched, it was heaven preparing you. And now the preparation makes sense. This is what it was leading to. This message. This moment. This choice. The Father says, you prayed for change, here it is. You begged for breakthrough, here it stands. But if you walk away, do not blame anyone when the blessing passes you by. That is why Michael cries, that is why your heart races, that is why your spirit trembles. Because you know what is at stake. And I tell you again, this is not just about you. The ripples of your choice will flow into the lives of those connected to you, your family, your loved ones, even generations yet unborn. The blessing that God is ready to release is not small, it is generational. But so is the warning. If you close your ears now, the sorrow will not stop with you, it will flow outward into lives tied to yours. That is why God presses so hard. That is why heaven will not stay silent. Because the choice you make is not private, it is eternal. And you cannot pretend you did not hear. You cannot say, "No one told me." For today you are told. Today heaven has spoken. Beloved, think about this. Have you not felt lately that something was coming, something unseen, something you could not explain but could not deny? That uneasiness in your chest, those restless nights, that sense of being watched, it was heaven preparing you. And now the preparation makes sense. This is what it was leading to. This message. This moment. This choice. The Father says, you prayed for change, here it is. You begged for breakthrough, here it stands. But if you walk away, do not blame anyone when the blessing passes you by. That is why Michael cries, that is why your heart races, that is why your spirit trembles. Because you know what is at stake. And I tell you again, this is not just about you. The ripples of your choice will flow into the lives of those connected to you, your family, your loved ones, even generations yet unborn. The blessing that God is ready to release is not small, it is generational. But so is the warning. If you close your ears now, the sorrow will not stop with you, it will flow outward into lives tied to yours. That is why God presses so hard. That is why heaven will not stay silent. Because the choice you make is not private, it is eternal. And you cannot pretend you did not hear. You cannot say, "No one told me." For today you are told. Today heaven has spoken. My beloved child, do not harden your heart to what you are hearing now, because every line is alive with the fire of heaven. This is not written in ink, it is written in light, burning with the breath of God. That is why you feel it so strongly, why you cannot look away, why your soul trembles as you read. You know, deep inside, that this is not just another set of words. This is heaven stopping everything to reach you one final time. And God says again, this is my last warning. If you skip this, you will cry for the rest of your life. But if you listen, if you open, if you obey, you will never be the same again. This is not poetry. This is prophecy. And prophecy is not given for beauty, it is given for survival. Beloved, you have been running in circles for too long. You prayed, you tried, you fought, and yet the same struggles returned again and again. Finances, relationships, opportunities, it seemed every time you took one step forward, something pushed you 2 steps back. Do you know why? Because you never received the full word of heaven. You heard pieces, you felt nudges, but you skipped when it mattered most. And so the cycle repeated. But God says today, enough. I will not let my child keep living bound when freedom has already been paid for. I will not let my child suffer what I have already conquered. That is why I give this final chance. My beloved, do not waste it. Archangel Michael speaks with fire, "Beloved, the chains are cracking, but you must push. The doors are shaking, but you must walk through. The enemy is trembling, but you must not doubt. For I, Michael, have been sent as your guardian, your defender, your fighter. I have carried your name on my sword. But I cannot force your heart to believe. I cannot make your soul obey. That part belongs to you. So do not delay, choose life, choose blessing, choose obedience." His voice is clear, his cry is desperate, because he sees more than you see. He sees the traps waiting. He sees the blessings ready. And he knows your decision will unlock one or the other. My child, think about how many times you almost gave up. Remember the nights you said, "I cannot do this anymore." Remember the mornings you woke up heavy, asking, "What is the point?" And yet, you are still here. Do you know why? Because heaven refused to let you fall. Angels kept you alive when you wanted to give up. Grace carried you when strength failed. Mercy shielded you when justice should have crushed you. And now God Himself says, "I have kept you this long for this moment." Do not waste what heaven protected. Do not despise what angels preserved. Do not throw away what my hand has carried. Beloved, this is too sacred to treat lightly. And listen, the next 7 minutes are not just about warning, they are about unlocking. If you obey, you will see shifts you never thought possible. You will see chains fall where you thought you were stuck forever. You will see restoration in places you thought were ruined. You will see sudden favor, sudden doors, sudden breakthroughs. God is not just trying to stop your loss, He is trying to release your gain. But heaven's principle has never changed: obedience comes before blessing. That is why you must not skip. That is why you must not doubt. That is why you must not delay. The window is open, but it will not stay open forever. My beloved, I want you to understand something very important. Heaven does not repeat itself without reason. When God speaks once, it is enough to change creation. But when He repeats Himself over and over, it means the matter is urgent beyond measure. That is why the words, "final warning," echo again and again in your spirit right now. Because this is not a season of small choices. This is the season where everything shifts. What you decide in this hour will shape your years ahead. That is why your heart feels heavy, why your body feels restless, why your thoughts cannot escape these words. It is because the Spirit of God is pressing against you with urgency, begging you not to miss the turning point. And beloved, you know it deep down. You know this is the call you have been waiting for all your life. Think back to all the almosts in your journey. Almost healed. Almost blessed. Almost promoted. Almost loved the way you deserved. But every time, something cut it short. That was not random. That was the work of unseen hands pulling your miracle back at the edge. But today, heaven says, no more almosts. No more half-wins. No more delays. God is ready to release the full blessing, the complete miracle, the overflow you asked for. But it requires that you obey the warning now. If you dismiss it, the pattern repeats. If you receive it, the cycle breaks. Do not underestimate how quickly everything can change. What took years of delay can be overturned in minutes if you choose rightly. That is the power of heaven's timing. Archangel Michael speaks again, and his words are fierce. Beloved, I have fought for you while you slept, I have defended you when you were unaware, but now I need your agreement. The heavens are open, the blessing is near, but you must say yes. You must stay, you must believe, you must receive. Do not turn away now. Do not throw away what eternity has prepared for you. His voice is strong because he sees how close you are to breakthrough. He sees the chains already cracking, the doors already shaking. He sees the enemy trembling because they know they are about to lose their grip. And Michael refuses to let you lose at the finish line. That is why he speaks with such fire now. Archangel Michael speaks again, and his words are fierce. Beloved, I have fought for you while you slept, I have defended you when you were unaware, but now I need your agreement. The heavens are open, the blessing is near, but you must say yes. You must stay, you must believe, you must receive. Do not turn away now. Do not throw away what eternity has prepared for you. His voice is strong because he sees how close you are to breakthrough. He sees the chains already cracking, the doors already shaking. He sees the enemy trembling because they know they are about to lose their grip. And Michael refuses to let you lose at the finish line. That is why he speaks with such fire now. Beloved child, there is something else you must know. The enemy is not only afraid of your blessing, he is afraid of your voice. Because when you rise, when you walk in obedience, when you receive your miracle, your testimony will set others free. And that is what darkness fears most, that you will not just be healed, but that you will become a light for others. That you will not just escape, but that you will lead others out of their prisons. That is why the fight against you has been so fierce. That is why losses piled up, tears overflowed, and disappointments crushed you. Because the enemy knew that if you ever reached this point of awakening, nothing could stop you again. And beloved, here you are. Awake. Chosen. Called. So I say again, my child, do not take this as a joke. These words are not entertainment, they are lifelines. They are not just a message, they are your rescue. And heaven is clear, if you skip this, tears will follow you for the rest of your life. But if you listen, if you obey, miracles will follow you instead. The choice is yours. Life or loss. Blessing or curse. Joy or sorrow. Heaven has done all it can. Now it is in your hands. My beloved child, pause for a moment and look at your life. How many times have you felt that you were standing at the edge of something greater, yet it slipped away at the last second? How many doors seemed ready to open but slammed shut just when you reached for them? These moments were not random disappointments, they were warnings that the enemy was fighting you harder than most. Do you know why? Because what is written over your name is greater than what is written over many others. You carry a destiny that stretches beyond you, a light that will illuminate others, a blessing that will multiply into generations. And the darker the resistance has been, the clearer the proof that heaven has called you for something bigger. That is why God now shouts louder than ever, do not take this as a joke. This is my final warning. Beloved, Every delay you faced was not meant to break you but to prepare you. God saw how strong you became after every tear. He saw how resilient you grew after every betrayal. He saw how even when your heart wanted to give up, your spirit still whispered, maybe one day things will change. And today heaven replies, that one day is now. That moment is here. You are not reading these words by mistake. Every second of your life was guided to bring you to this very hour. You prayed for answers, and this is the answer. You prayed for a sign, and this is the sign. But the test remains, will you open it fully, or will you skip? Archangel Michael speaks once more, beloved, the war has been fierce over you. Demons wanted to erase you. Darkness wanted to silence you. But heaven refused. I fought for you when you didn't even know my name. I stood guard when you were too weak to fight. And now I am telling you clearly, this is the hour of decision. Do not throw away what we fought to protect. Do not let doubt rob you again. His words are not gentle now, they are fiery, because the time is short. He knows what is coming next, and he knows your obedience is the key that will unlock the shield of heaven around you. My beloved child, can you feel how different this moment is from all others? Your heart knows it, your breath knows it, your soul knows it. The presence of heaven is heavier now than it has ever been before in your life. Do not ignore what your spirit already feels. Do not silence the trembling in your chest. That trembling is recognition, it is your soul crying, this is for me. This is my moment. This is my rescue. If you walk away now, you will remember this moment forever as the time you turned from the hand of God. But if you stay, if you open, if you obey, you will remember this as the day everything finally shifted. And God Himself says, do not skip. Do not delay. Do not mock what is holy. For the blessing waiting on the other side of this obedience is beyond what you asked for. It is healing in places you thought could never heal. It is reconciliation in relationships you thought were destroyed. It is provision where you only saw lack. It is joy after years of sorrow. Beloved, you have cried long enough. You have lost long enough. You have suffered long enough. Heaven is saying, it is finished. But you must respond. You must choose. The blessing will not force itself on you, you must open the door. My beloved child, hear me again, for the Father's voice is heavy with both love and warning, this is my final call. Do not take it as a joke. Do not dismiss it. Do not walk away. Too many times you said, maybe later. Maybe tomorrow. But heaven whispers, later is gone. Tomorrow is not promised. Now is the only time you have. Beloved, how many chances do you think God will give before the window closes? How many times can mercy stretch before it snaps? You are here because mercy held you, but mercy is not endless without response. That is why the urgency presses so strongly on your chest. That is why you cannot escape these words. They are wrapping around you like fire because God is not willing to lose you without this last attempt to awaken you. Think about the weight of these words, final warning. It means the Father has spoken before, but the whispers were ignored. It means signs were sent, but they were overlooked. It means dreams tried to speak, but they were dismissed. And still, in His unending love, God chose to give you this one last chance. Beloved, this is not common. Not everyone is given such a moment. Some fall before the final warning ever comes. Some never get the last call. But you, beloved, are here because heaven fought too hard to let you perish without one last light. You are alive today because Archangel Michael defended you when you didn't even know you were under attack. And now he cries with urgency, do not waste what heaven preserved.